Hey there, Wonderful Matrix. Welcome to Educate. In this video, we'll be doing electric circuits. This is June 2023 supplementary paper. Let's get to it. It says here a battery with an unknown EMF E. So it means in this case, we're not given the EMF. We just refer it to symbol E, and an unknown internal resistance. So this is an electric circuit that has got internal resistance. It simply means that some of the EMF, it is actually lost, or some of the voltage is actually lost. And this is connected to 3 resistors, a high resistance voltmeter, 2 switches, and 2 emitters of negligible resistance, as shown below. We have not been given any other information within this first statement, just describing the electric circuit, that this has got internal resistance. Please make sure that you've watched my video introducing the circuits that have got internal resistance so that you understand how we deal with such circuits. Now, before we even get to the questions, we need to make an analysis on the circuit, right? So when we make an analysis, we realize that this is the positive terminal of the circuit. This is the negative terminal of the cell, I mean. So basically, you know that a conventional current flows from the positive terminal all the way towards the negative terminal. So it simply means that here the current will flow from this positive side. So the current that I'm highlighting with yellow, it is referred to as the total current, because this is the current that is coming from the cell, directly from the cell. So it is known as the total current. So if I was to put an ammeter here in this region that I've highlighted in yellow, that ammeter will measure the total current. So as this total current leaves this cell, it actually reaches to this point whereby the wire splits into 2. So you can see that our conductor here, it is splitting into 2, because when it reaches here, let's just assume that the current is flowing. As it is flowing from the positive terminal and it reaches here, it has to split because there are 2 parts. There are 2 close parts. It can either split and go here towards this 3 ohms resistor, or it can split and go towards the 2 ohms and 5 ohms resistor. So basically, if the current splits, there's a current division there. So once the current divides, it means that we've got a parallel combination going on them. So I'm going to use different highlighters now, different colors, to say that the current that will split and go to this 3 ohms resistor, it is the blue current. It will flow through the 3 ohms resistor if switch S2 is closed. And then the other current, it is the one that will flow down here, and it will go to the 2 ohms resistor, then to the 5 ohms resistor, then it comes back again here. And then this blue current and this green current will combine again. I'm sure they've splitted here. It was the yellow current. It is splitted into 2 different parts. And then when it meets again, it will combine and form the total current once again. So this is the total current, and it goes back to the negative terminal. So the region that I have highlighted in yellow, I usually call it the series part of the circuit. And then the one that I've highlighted with the blue and the green is the parallel part. So basically, what are we having here? We are having the yellow current, which is the total current coming from the battery. And as it flows and it reaches here, it realizes that it has to take 2 parts. It has to split. Okay, some of it will go to the 3 ohms resistor, some of it will go to the 2 ohms and the 5 ohms resistor. So the blue one is the one that is going to the 3 ohms resistor, and then the green one is the one that is going to the 2 ohms and the 5 ohms respectively. And then now they will recombine again here. The current will recombine here, and then when it recombines, it becomes the total current again. And look at this, we have got the emitter A2 there. So realizing that we've got emitter A2, we know that the emitter is used to measure current, right? So basically, the type of current that is being measured by emitter A2, it is the total current. So we can say that emitter A2 is measuring the total current. Okay, so basically now we can go and kind of analyze and look at the questions. So when we look at the questions here, the first question, it states state Ohm's law in words. So when we state Ohm's law, we have to just keep it simple. Do not mention too many things. You just have to mention the potential difference and the current. Say that they are directly proportional at a constant temperature. So when you state it, you'll be like the potential difference across a conductor, or you can say across a resistor, it is still acceptable. So the potential difference, across a conductor. We say that potential difference across the conductor is directly proportional. It is directly proportional to the what? It is directly proportional to the current that is flowing in the conductor or through the conductor. So the current in the conductor, or you can say the current through the conductor, flowing through the conductor at a constant temperature. This is how you state your Ohm's law. So Ohm's law states that the potential difference across a conductor, this is what you have to mention, the potential difference across a conductor, it is directly proportional to the current. Not that you have to say it word by word exactly as I've written it here. The context, you just need to mention that you have potential difference, you've got current, and those two are directly proportional to one another, but this only happens when the temperature is constant, or you can say when all other physical conditions are constant, but this one is the simpler way of stating the Ohm's law. Then now they say to us both switch S1 and S2 are closed. So it means switch S2, this is switch S2, right? And then this is switch S1, they are both closed. When they are both closed, it simply means that they allow current to pass through. Okay, so when a switch is open, it means that it cannot allow current to pass through. But when a switch is closed, it means it can allow current to pass through. So if switch S2 is closed, it means that this blue current will be able to pass through this 3 ohms resistor. Okay, and if this switch S1 is closed as well, it also means that this green current is allowed to pass through this 2 ohms and this 5 ohms resistor. So basically, if we open switch S1, there won't be any green current that will be passing through the 2 ohms and the 5 ohms, because the current needs to be able to go back and flow back and become the total current again and go back to the negative terminal. So the moment they tell you that both switch S2 and switch S1 are closed, it simply means that the current is able to split. Some of it will go through the 3 ohms resistor, some of it through the 2 ohms and the 5 ohms resistor. Now they say the reading on the emitter A1 is 1.5 amperes. Let us look at A1. A1 is an emitter here that is found, and you can see that by highlighting, this is the green current. A1, this is measuring the green current. This is the splitted current. It's not the total one, because it has splitted from this yellow current. Some of it went to 3 ohms, some of it went to this 2 ohms and 5 ohms. So it means that this 1.5 amperes, it is the current through the 2 ohms resistor. I'm sure it's the green current, right? It is also the current through the 5 ohms resistor. Because look at this, guys, the current that is passing through this emitter, which is 1.5 amperes according to this mini statement here, is the same current that will pass through the 2 ohms resistor. And when it comes from the 2 ohms resistor, it will pass through the 5 ohms resistor as well. So this tells us what? This tells us that the current through the 2 ohms and the 5 ohms, it is the same, or they are equal, because essentially 2 ohms and 5 ohms, they are in series with each other. They are in series because they are receiving the same current. You know, guys, when you say that two resistors are connected in series to one another, it means that they are receiving the same current. Simply means that. Okay. So basically here, these two are in series. I always recommend, guys, that when you are having two resistors that are in series, try to draw your circuit again. Draw your circuit again, and what you do, you must add up those resistors. Because if you are going to just say this 2 ohms is parallel to this 3 ohms, that will be absolutely wrong. If you say that this 5 ohms is parallel to this 3 ohms, that's absolutely wrong. Whenever you have got two resistors that are connected in series to one another or with one another, you need to add them up and just pretend that they are one resistor. How do you do that? So I'm just going to redraw my circuit here in this empty space and say this is my resistor R, and then this is my cell, and then this is my emitter A2, and then here we have got the 3 ohms resistor, and then here we have got the switch S2. Here we've got the switch S2, and then we connect them together. And then now, what do? We say that this 2 ohms and this 5 ohms resistor are in series with one another, right? So it is recommended for you to add them up, just add them up together. and form one resistor. How do you add resistors that are in series with each other? You just add their resistances. So this 2 ohms plus this 5 ohms will give you the 7 ohms resistor. This resistor is known as an effective resistor. This is known as an effective resistor. So you have just added them up and you've got 7 ohms here. So if we're just to include we have got an emitter here. Remember, this is emitter A1 and it's measuring a current of 1.5 amperes. What is this whole purpose of what I'm doing here, grade 12s? The whole purpose of adding these two is to simplify your work as a grade 12 learner. Basically, when you're having two resistors that are connected in series, try your best to add them and only get one effective resistor. In this case, this is 5 ohms and 2 ohms. I've added them up to get what? To get the 7 ohms resistor. So now the current passing through these 2 ohms and 5 ohms, remember we said that it is 1.5 amperes as indicated by this emitter, because emitter is measuring current, right? So the current passing through this emitter, it is the same current passing through those 2 ohms, passing through this 5 ohms. So when we combine them together, their current is still going to be the same because these two are in series with one another. So when you want to say the current passing through this 7 ohms resistor, it is also going to be 1.5 amperes. You don't add them up. You're not going to be like, this is 1.5 amperes, this is 1.5 amperes, and then when you add them up, you say this is 3 amperes. That is wrong, absolutely and abruptly wrong. Because in a series combination, or when you're having two resistors that are connected in series to one another, their current is not added up. Their current is not divided. Their current is the same. So it means that when you combine them to form one effective resistor, that resistor will have the same current as the two separate. Okay, so now that we have this information, our circuit is now simplified. 8.2.1 said, calculate the reading on the voltmeter. When you look at the voltmeter here, you can see that the voltmeter here, it is positioned here parallel to this 3 ohms resistor, or it is connected at the ends of this 3 ohms resistor. So the fact that this voltmeter is connected at the ends of the 3 ohms resistor, it means that it is measuring the voltage through this the voltage across this 3 ohms resistor. Okay, terms, right? So the voltage across this 3 ohms resistor is being measured by this voltmeter V. So now when they say calculate the reading on the voltmeter, they're actually looking at the voltage through this 3 ohms resistor, across this 3 ohms resistor, I mean, the voltage that is found across this 3 ohms resistor. Remember, voltage, it's simply the energy that is given to the charges. Okay, so now how can you find that? We can use this simplified version of our circuit because we know that this 3 ohms resistor, it is definitely parallel to this 7 ohms resistor. So that is why at first I said that it will be wrong for you to say that this 2 ohms is parallel to 3 ohms. No, it's not possible because there's also another 5 ohms resistor series to it. That's why we added them up. So once we combine them, we only form one effective resistor. If we had another resistor here that is in series with 2 ohms and 5 ohms, you keep on adding them until you form one big resistor, the effective resistor. So this effective resistor, it is the one that is what? That is parallel to this 3 ohms resistor. Okay. Don't say that 2 ohms is parallel to 3 ohms. You get the wrong concept and you'll apply the wrong calculations. So here, this 7 ohms effective resistor, it is parallel to this 3 ohms resistor. So we know that when we're having two resistors that are connected in parallel to one another, the voltage across them is equal. Okay, voltage across parallel resistors is equal. So here, if we can calculate the voltage through this 7 ohms resistor, if we calculate the voltage through this 7 ohms resistor, and then that voltage will exactly be equal to the voltage through the 3 ohms resistor. Okay, so the voltage through the 7 ohms is equal to the voltage across the 7 ohms resistor will be equal to the voltage across the 3 ohms resistor because these two are parallel to one another. But you cannot say that the voltage through the 2 ohms is equal to the voltage through the 3 ohms. Wrong. Absolutely wrong. Okay. So now, how do we calculate the voltage through the 7 ohms resistor? We can notice one thing here that we have got what? We have got the current, right? The current through the 7 ohms resistor is 1.5 amperes as we are told by the statement. And then the voltage, the resistance of this is 7 ohms. You see, we are using the effective resistor, the 7 ohms. So we are looking for the what? We are looking for the voltage or the potential difference, right? So when you look at the voltage here, we're just going to use our version of the Ohm's law, which states what? That V is equals to I times R. In this case, if we substitute, I is the current, which is 1.5 amperes, then the resistance is 7 ohms. So now if we multiply that, we are going to find out that our voltage through this 7 ohms effective resistor, it is going to be equal to 10.5 volts. So this is 10.5 volts. So the fact that we are having a 10.5 volts through the 7 ohms resistor, it will be equal to the one in the 3 ohms resistor. And since these two are equal, these two are parallel, they will be equal. So basically that is the reading on voltmeter V, because remember that voltmeter V, it is measuring the voltage across the 3 ohms resistor, across the 3 ohms resistor, and it will be equal to the one in this combination, this 7 ohms resistor. Okay, so we can now say we have got our answer there, and that's just going to give you 3 marks for the formula, substitution, and answer. So now let's look at 8.2.2. So when we look at 8.2.2, it says calculate the reading on emitter A2. We have already deduced at first that the reading on emitter A2, it is the what? It is the total current. Emitter A2 is the reading the total current, right? So what made us say that? Remember, we did the current splitting and everything, and we said that A2 is measuring the total current, the one that is going back to the negative terminal. Okay, so the total current, remember, it is the one that is splitted. The total current is splitted. Remember that when it came out from the positive terminal of the cell, it came here, and when it reached at this point, it is splitted into the blue current and the green current. Then these currents, they flowed independently to different resistors, and then they recombined again here to form the total current again. It's like you had 100 trends, and then you split the 100 trends among 2 people, and then those people will take their money again and recombine it. It will still form the 100 trends, okay, and come back to the negative terminal, right? So this is how it works. So when we're looking for the total current here, it means that we're going to add the current, this green current here, this green current, the one that is through this 2 ohms and 5 ohms resistor, plus the current through the 3 ohms resistor. That will give us the total current. So essentially here, if I just want to make a formula, I would just say here the total current, or the current through the emitter A2, that is the total current, will be equals to the current through this 3 ohms resistor plus the current through this combination. Remember, this combination, we say that they are in series with one another, so they receive the same current, which is 1.5 amperes. So I'll just say the current through the, okay, call it whatever that you want, okay? Call it whatever that you want. I'll just call it the current through the 2 and 5 ohms resistor. When we add them together, we're going to get the total current. Why should we get the total current? Remember that the total current is splitted into the first one that went to the 3 ohms, the second one that went to the 2 ohms and 5 ohms. So when they add up together here and they go to ammeter A2, they form the total current. So basically, it means that I had a total current here, and then it is splitted. Splitting simply means dividing. Current is being divided in a parallel combination. So when it reaches here, it's splitted. I had 100 trends, I've splitted it. 20 runs here, and then 80 runs here. And then these 20 runs and these 80 runs, it combines again. It will form 100 runs. So basically, for me to be able to get my total current, I need to add the current here, which is the analogous to the 20 rands, and then the 8 rands here as well, and then I should get 100 trends back again. So you kind of get the sense of current is splitting. So how do I do have the current through the 2 and the 5 ohms resistor, because I've been given here by this emitter. So I do have this one, but I don't know the current through the 3 ohms resistor, but I can find the current through the 3 ohms resistor. How can I find the current through the 3 ohms resistor? I can find it by just using what I know. I know that in this 3 ohms resistor, I've got 2 pieces of information. Okay, I know the voltage through this 3 ohms resistor. That is what we are calculating at 8.2.1. We found 10.5 volts. So it means that we're having 10.5 volts across this 3 ohms resistor. Okay, so we have the voltage, we have the resistance, so we can find the current through the 3 ohms resistor. How do we find it? Since I don't have space here, I'll just write here and say that, remember that V is equals to I times R. And we know that the voltage through this 3 ohms resistor, it is 10.5 volts. We don't know the current through, that is what we are looking for. And then we know the resistance of the 3 ohms resistor, it is 3 ohms. Okay, we just divide both sides by 3 here so that we can get our current. We will get that here our current would be equals to 10.5 divided by 3. That will be equals to 3.5, and we measure it in amperes. We have got units, guys. These are not dogs. Don't just write 3.5 ampere, 3.5 only. So the current through this 3 ohms resistor, we now know it's 3.5 amperes. And we know that the current through this 2 and 5 ohms is 5 amperes. So when we add them together, we must get the total current. Okay, so in this case, I'm just going to add them together and say the current through the 3 ohms, remember we said, we just calculated it, is 3.5 amperes. The current through these 2 ohms and 5 ohms, it is the same. We don't add it up because these two are in series. These 2 ohms and 5 ohms are in series with one another. They are receiving the same green current. So this is going to be plus 1.5 amperes. 3.5 plus 1.5, they would give us 5 amperes. So the total current through the total current through this emitter A2 is going to be 5 amperes. So we know that our total current is 5 amperes. And then what about the power? The power that is dissipated in the 3 ohms resistor. So when you're looking for power, there are many equations that you can use. Particularly in this case, we are looking for the power through this 3 ohms resistor. Power has got a couple of equations that you can think of. Power is equals to voltage times current. This is the most basic one. Power is equals to the current squared times the resistance. You know power is equals to the voltage squared over the resistance. All of these are equations for power that you can use depending on the information that you have. In this case, it looks like we have everything about this 3 ohms resistor. We know its resistance is 3 ohms. We know its current is 3.5. We know its voltage. We calculated it at some point. I think we found what 10.5. Yes, so you can use any combination of two things to find the power. In this case, I'm just going to say that for 8.2.3, I'm just going to say that the power is equals to the voltage multiplied by the current, for simplicity's sake. In this case, the voltage through the 3 ohms resistor, I've already calculated it and I found 10.5 volts in 8.2.1, right? So we know that this is 10.5 volts. Then we're multiplying this with the current through this 3 ohms resistor. We just calculated it. We found that it is 3.5 amperes. So this is 10.5 times 3.5 amperes. And then that is going to give us a power rating of 36.75. And then we don't measure power in dogs or in no units. We measure it in watts. So you must always write the unit. So the power through this, the power dissipated in the 3 ohms resistor, which is 36.75 watts. Try to use these other formulas and using the information that you have on this 3 ohms resistor and try to see, are you not going to get the same? But this is supposedly going to be your 3 marks. This was 4, by the way. Okay, so now we are done with the lower order questions. Now let us look at a one higher order question that needs your understanding. Now it says switch S1 is closed, is now opened. Oh, okay, so I'm now opening switch S1. Guys, I've explained at the beginning of the video that when we're opening a switch, it means that there is no current that will pass through, or there's no current that will flow through these resistors. So the moment I'm saying that I'm opening this switch S1, it simply means that the current will not be able to pass through it. Okay, the current won't be able to pass through it. How do I mean? Remember that our total current was the one that was flowing from the positive terminal, right? And when it reached here, it was supposed to split. Some of it was going to the 2 ohms, some of it was going to the 5 ohms. But the moment I'm opening this switch S1, there is no current that will be going to the 2 ohms resistor and the 5 ohms resistor. Guys, current cannot just do this dramatic move. Cannot just tell me that current is splitted and it will move, it will flow, and it will only reach the 2 ohms, but it won't reach the 5 ohms because this is open. No, that is not how current works. Okay, current cannot just be shortcutted in this way that it just reaches the 2 ohms alone. No, that cannot work. So basically, what am I saying here? The moment I open switch S1, it simply means that there is no current that will come to the 2 ohms resistor and that will come to the 5 ohms resistor, because now there's an open switch. Remember, the current needs to be able to go back and recombine and become the total current and go back to the negative terminal. So if it cannot do that, then it means that the current won't be able to flow even to these 2 ohms. So we just forget the 2 ohms and the 5 ohms. We pretend they are not there because basically we've opened the switch leading to them. So basically here, we can just make our circuit to be simplified and say this is my internal resistor, and then this is my battery, this is my emitter A2, and then with the only resistor that I will be now having is 3 ohms. Okay, that is the only resistor that I'll be having. So this is my complete circuit, by the way. So the moment I open switch S1, there's no need to actually draw the 2 ohms and the 5 ohms because there is no current passing through them. In fact, they are just out of this circuit. In fact, forget about this part of the circuit. If possible, forget about it. Okay, so basically here, that is what we are doing. We are doing this so that we can do what? We can forget about this part of the circuit. Let's just try to highlight it off. Okay, yeah, try to forget about it in your head, of course. So that is why when we are redrawing the circuit, we are only drawing the 3 ohms resistor alone, because these 2 ohms and these 5 ohms, it doesn't have any effect because there's no current passing through it. Just pretend it's not there, guys. We only look at things that have got current here. So when there's no current, when the switch is open, switch S1 is open, simply means that these 2 ohms and 5 ohms won't receive any current. So if they are not receiving any current, it simply means that they are out of the circuit. They are not part of the circuit because the circuit has to have current that is flowing through. And then now they say here, the reading on emitter A2 is now 3.64 ohms, amperes I mean. So it has changed. Remember, we measured the reading on ammeter A2, which was the total current. We found that it was 5 amperes at first in the first scenario when S1 was closed. But now that we've opened switch S1, now the total current has changed. Obviously, it has to change because we have removed 2 resistors essentially. So here, the total current through the emitter A2 here, it is now 3.64 amperes. Okay, so now here, now they say calculate the EMF of the battery. Given 5 marks to do that. Calculate the EMF of the battery. Now you will see that this is now serious. So if we are calculating the EMF of the battery, what actually happens with the EMF? Remember that when we're having internal resistance, the formula for EMF goes like EMF is equals to the total current multiplied by the external resistance plus the internal resistance. This is the formula for calculating EMF. Okay, and if we are using this new circuit after opening switch S1, the EMF will be equals to the total current is now 3.64 amperes because we have removed the other 2 resistors. So the total current has increased. Okay, so it's now has decreased. I mean, it's now 3.64 amperes. And then what about the total external resistance? If we look at all the external resistors here, you can see that in this particular case, we are only now having only one resistor, which is the 3 ohms resistor. So the current is no longer being divided. All of it is going to the 3 ohms resistor, because when we're opening switches one, I repeat here for the millionth time, you will even get tired of me, but I don't care. Please, I'm opening switch S1, means I'm removing 2 ohms and 5 ohms resistor. So it means that the current won't flow to it anymore. Okay, so basically all the total current will now go through the 3 ohms resistor alone, flow through the 3 ohms alone. Okay, and that current is 3.64 amperes. So the only resistor that we have here, it is the 3 ohms alone. Okay, so that is the total external resistance, and we don't know the internal resistance. It is R. Now we miss something here. We don't have R. We are not given R, the small letter R, the internal resistor. It is just R. We are not given its actual value. So now you think, how can you solve for this R? You can try to do a simultaneous equation because remember the EMF of the battery is a fixed value of the battery's maximum voltage in a sense. Okay, so you know that when the time S1 was closed, we still had the same EMF. So basically, if we look at when S1 was closed, the first scenario, we could have said that here the EMF is equals to the current times the total external resistance plus the internal resistance. And if we had used this equation when switch S1 was closed, the EMF will still be the same thing because the EMF of the battery doesn't change no matter what. It's a fixed value. But here you can see that the difference is here when S1 was closed and S2 was closed, when both of them were closed, the current here, the total current, it was not the one that we now have. It was 5 amperes. So the total current was 5 amperes. So at first, the total current was 5 amperes in the first scenario. When the switch S1 was closed, the total current was 5 amperes. And the total external resistance, it was combining all these resistors. So if we just open a new page here, you can see that if we pretend that we go back to the past and we say that switch S1 was closed, when switch S1 was closed, it simply meant that the current was splitting. I'm just repeating this for the last time, okay? So when switch S1 was closed, the current splitted, and we said some of it went there, and then some of it was the green one, it went here, here it is, and then it combined again. Then when it combined, it formed the total current, and we measured it and we found that it was 5 amperes. That was what we measured. Okay, but now here, if we now want to apply the same formula here and say that at first, okay, so at first, when switch S1 was closed, the EMF was equal to the total current times the resistance outside and the resistance inside. So the total current then it was 5 amperes, right? And then the total external resistance, we didn't calculate it, but we can still calculate it. Okay, so basically here, remember that in our modified circuit here, we combine these 2 ohms and this 5 ohms resistor, right? We combine them to form 7 ohms. So we can calculate the total resistance here, the total external resistance, because this was when switch S1 was closed. So how can you calculate the total external resistance? Remember, these 2 resistors are parallel to one another. These 3 ohms and the 7 ohms, they are parallel. So I can say that 1 over R parallel is equals to 1 over 3 plus 1 over 7. Okay, I'll just write it on the other side. So here, when I was combining these 2 resistors, if I combine, because here what am I looking for? I'm looking for the total external resistance when switch S1 was closed. Okay, so the resistance when switch S1 was closed. So here, what am I going to do? I'm going to find that resistance. Say it was 1 over R parallel is equals to 1 over 3 ohms plus 1 over 7 ohms. You don't do 1 over 2 ohms plus 1 over 5 ohms. No. Remember that these 2 ohms and these 5 ohms, we combine them, always combine them to form one effective resistor. I always emphasize, and I'm emphasizing for the millionth time, always combine the 2 ohms and the 5 ohms resistor to form one effective resistor. So this is 1 over 3 plus 1 over 7, which is the combination of 2 and 5, because these two are in series, grade 12s. As what should I do so that you hear me here? I repeat for the 1000th time, even if you get tired. I say here, this 3 ohms is parallel to this entire combination. When you combine 2 ohms and 5 ohms, that's 7 ohms. It's an effective resistor. So this 3 ohms is parallel to the effective resistor, the one that I've drawn here in the previous circuit. So here I'm trying to calculate the external resistance or the resistance of these two, the total external resistance of the circuit. So this is 1 over 3 plus 1 over 7, and that is going to give you what? 1 over R parallel. You do your maths there. 1 over 3 plus 1 over 7 is supposedly going to be what? 1 over, whatever. Okay, 7 times 3 is 21. So let's just say over 21. And then this is going to be 7. Yeah, you do your maths. I'm not a maths teacher, by the way. So 7 into 21, that's going to be 3 plus 7. And then that's going to be 10 over 21. And then the final answer is going to be R parallel. Okay, 1 over R parallel will be equals to 10 over 21, but we're looking for R parallel, not 1 over R parallel. So you just need to vice versa the term. So R parallel will be equals to 21 over 10. Okay, so you just need to take R parallel, take it up, 21, take it up, 10, take it down. You know the vibes, right? So 21 over 10 will give you 2.1 ohms. So that is the parallel resistance. R parallel will be a 2.1 ohms. So it means that when switch S1 was closed, okay, the 3 ohms and these 2 ohms and 5 ohms, we combined them together to form one effective resistor, which was 2.1 ohms. So that was the total external resistance. And then we did not know the total internal resistance. But now, this is now a simultaneous equation because you can see that we're having two equations, all of them equaling the same EMF. Okay, this is the same EMF. So now when you equate these two equations, you can be able to solve for the internal resistance. And if you equate them, this is going to be 3.64 multiplied by 3 times A plus R is equals to 5 into 2.1 plus R. So now you just have to solve for R here using your fancy mathematics. I'm not going to do the whole process. The value of R here is going to be equal to 0.31 ohms. So this 0.31 ohms, it is the internal resistance. That's the internal resistance, of course. Okay, and for you to find the EMF, you can just substitute this R into any one of these equations and you'll be able to find your EMF. So you can just say, therefore, the EMF here is going to be 3.64 into 3 plus 0.31. And then that is going to give you an EMF of 12.05 volts. So that is the EMF of the battery. So please be careful with your scenarios, guys. I still repeat, when you say that the switch is open, it simply means that there is no current going to flow through these 2 ohms and these 5 ohms. And then last is the conceptual question. Switch S2 is now opened. Switch S1 is now closed. So we vice versa everything. So allow me to rub off what I had done already. So I'll just erase here so that we can create a new scenario when we open switch S2 and then now we close switch S1. Okay. Make sure that you watch my previous videos explaining this whole concept from scratch, from grade 10 content, so that you understand clearly. So here we're now opening switch S2, then we are closing switch S1. So here we now say that switch S1 is closed. So this switch here, which is S1, it is closed, but switch S2 is open. Remember that switch S2 is responsible for controlling the current flowing through this 3 ohms resistor, this line that I'm highlighting here, grade 12. This switch S2, it is controlling the current through the 3 ohms resistor. So the moment I'm opening it, it means that there is no current that will flow through the 3 ohms resistor. And in other ways, it simply means that I'm removing the 3 ohms resistor. Opening the switch simply means I'm removing the resistor that is connected to it. And in this case, you can see that this switch S2, the moment I open it, there won't be any blue current passing through or flowing through this 3 ohms resistor. So the only resistors that I'll be having is 2 ohms and 5 ohms. So if I just want to redraw the circuit again, I won't draw the cells and whatnot. I will only have 2 resistors. It will be 2 ohms and it will be 5 ohms. Only these two. Those are the only 2 resistors that I'll be having. And then this is my cell, this is my internal resistor and whatnot. You do all that on your own time. So here, this 3 ohms resistor is the same as saying I've removed it because I've opened switch S2. Now, this conceptual question is asking, how does the voltmeter reading change? Choose from increases, decreases, or remains the same. The reading on voltmeter, this voltmeter V. Remember, the voltmeter V, it is measuring the voltage across the 3 ohms resistor, right? So you know that when you remove a resistor, in parallel, what happens? The resistance increases. I repeat this again. I've explained this in my video explaining Ohm's law. Check all those videos in the description. I'll paste them. I said when you are removing a resistor in parallel, what does it mean? It means that you are increasing the resistance. I repeat for the millionth time again. When you remove a resistor in parallel, it means that you are increasing the resistance. So basically, by opening the switch S2, it means that I'm removing the 3 ohms resistor, meaning that I'm increasing the resistance of the circuit. I repeat again, when I'm opening switch S2 as the instruction says, I'm removing the 3 ohms resistor, meaning that I'm doing what? I'm increasing the resistance. So what happens to the reading on the voltmeter? Remember, the voltmeter is measuring the voltage, right? So basically, what will happen to the voltage? What will happen to the voltage when the resistance is being increased? The voltage and resistance, they are directly proportional. You know that voltage and resistance are directly proportional to one another. So you can say that here the voltmeter reading will increase. That's the answer. Then you now back it up with reasoning. So the voltage increases, the voltmeter reading there will increase. Why? You're going to explain what I said. By opening the switch S2, we are removing the 3 ohms resistor. So here, talk about removing the 3 ohms resistor here. You are removing the 3 ohms resistor. And when we are removing resistors in parallel, what does it mean here? The total resistance is increasing. So by removing the 3 ohms, the total resistance is increasing. So there is an increasing resistance there. The total resistance increasing. So since voltage is parallel to resistance, the total voltage will also increase. If you explain things the way that I said, you get all the marks. It's the final answer. The voltmeter reading is increasing. Why? By opening the switch S2, we are removing the 3 ohms resistor. So this means that the total resistance will increase. And since the voltage and resistance are directly proportional, the total voltage is also going to increase. That is going to give you a full 4 marks. So thank you so much for watching this wonderful and long video, Wonderful Matrix. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Tell your friends also. Stay tuned.